So that's yeah. I was always afraid to do it, and I never did. And then life gets away from you. But even as a kid growing up, I always thought it'd be pretty neat to do stunt man, get into movies, that kind of thing. We just never pushed. And then about 7 years ago, I run into a friend of mine that graduated. He graduated.
What's real? Reality. Real. Let's go. Bullets travel like gossip, running in mouth like leaky faucets. Two-faced niggas be stealing ideas and nothing solid. Grown men and their feelings debating on true intentions. Felt, oh, man,
It's being recorded now.
Yeah. All right, this is another segment. Guess how sad. I'm your host, Adam Mill. My co-host to my side.
Sick as the governor.
My other co-host.
Bizzle, what's up?
And we have a special guest in the building today. He go by the name of Thomas LEAHY, if I'm pronouncing it right.
You got it.
All right. To me, he's a Baltimore. I don't want to limit him to that. I have a problem with that. Okay, I'm gonna be. Let's see. He's an East Coast legend behind the scenes, and then I'm probably limiting his ability and his skill and how far he transcended beyond that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna welcome him to the building. He's an actor, producer, all around talented artist. We're gonna pick his brain. We're blessed to be here with a genius and highly qualified man in his craft. So welcome to the show, Mr. Thomas LEAHY. Let's give him a round of applause, please, gentlemen. Let's go.
Thank you. But I wouldn't say genius. I would say like the average guy, not a genius.
And listen, people have lied to me and told me I was a genius. And they probably right, but I don't think so. But I guess people see what you don't see. That's the greatness of being great.
It's a perspective.
Exactly. But on this show, and for the work I know that you've done, you're a genius to me, bro. Well, so we're gonna pick your brain. I had a bunch of corny questions that I got off Google.
Okay.
Things to ask an actor.
Did you want me to give you the AI responses for that?
No, don't do it. Yeah. Yep. Hey, look, it's funny because that's first thing I was, what would AI say? What you know what I'm saying? So yeah. But I do want to say this though. Let's start it off with this. What are give us your humble beginnings. Where you from?
Okay.
And what inspired you to get into acting, the field?
I'm originally from Woodlawn, Milford Mill area. Graduated Milford Mill High School, but went to Woodlawn Junior. I was on that dividing line, so I had to go to Milford Mill. Everybody on the street behind me went to Woodlawn.
Gotcha.
So I'm from that area, born and raised there. Moved to Ellicott City, back to Catonsville. I live in Westminster, Maryland now. For people who don't know where that is, add another 30-minute ride from Owens Mills, northwest of Baltimore.
Gotcha.
So, McDaniel College would be the college. It's about a mile from my house. Carroll Community, a couple miles away. So that's where I'm at, out that way.
Cool. I lived in Owens Mills back in 2008.
Okay. Yeah, it's a nice area.
It's nice. Got a little rough, but it's when I was out there, it was pretty good. Nice.
I mean, it's still good. They're revamping that whole mall area, so
I know that thing looks nice, don't it, man?
I have not been in the area. I mean, I've been all around it. I haven't been back into where the mall was originally.
Yeah,
it's probably a little bit. I mean, I've been around the area. It's nice. A little confusing, but
okay. So, what inspired you to want to act?
All right. So to be honest, way back in high school, I always thought about doing plays, but I was too scared to even try out. So that's I was always afraid to do it, and I never did. And then life gets away from you. But even as a kid growing up, I always thought it'd be pretty neat to do stunt man, get into movies, that kind of thing. We just never pushed. And then about 7 years ago, I run into a friend of mine that graduated. He graduated a year ahead of me. We were friends in high school. And he's like, hey, I'm doing background. I've been doing background for a couple of years now. if you're interested, here's where to go. So they were doing open call for House of Cards. So I went up there and did that. And they're like, oh, yeah, we like your look. You'll get lots of work. It didn't happen. Now I got, I got cast for a couple shows for background. And the first day I went in there for background, I sat, they were doing a scene. It was supposed to be like a House of Representatives. So I'm one of like 150 people for background. So you're not even going to find me in the scene, for one. Two, I sat on a wooden bench at the Towson Courthouse for like 4.5 hours, just hearing them repeat the same lines over and over. Move the cameras to this side now. Let's get this angle. Da 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 da. Somebody coughed. We got to do it again. I was like, this sucks so bad. It's like, I got to find something better than being background. So then I just started looking for people that were willing to take on somebody who had no clue what they're doing.
Yeah.
And work from there, and then you just, if you really like it, you work on it. If you don't and you take it as a hobby, then you're only going to get so far.
And I think that's what anything in life, that has that type of drive and passion.
Sure.
What would you say to a young actor that's coming up in the business? What would be the first advice that you would tell them? Like, what would you tell them?
Follow your heart. If that's what you want to do, you'll find a way to make it happen. At the same time, the cruel reality is you have to be able to take rejection. If you cannot take rejection and you can't take being told no or not getting cast over and over again, it's not for you. This is, today's world, you can grab a camera and make a movie, and everybody can do that. Everybody does their videos, does their TikTok, and you become stars on TikTok and all that stuff. But if you are really serious about the business, you have to put the work in, like I said, and you have to be willing to hear, hey, great look, but you're not what we're looking for. Or, hey, awesome audition, you're just not tall enough. That kind of stuff. And it's just the fact. You could be the best guy in the room, but you may not have the right hair color. You may not have the height. You may not look right standing next to their lead. And that bumps you out.
So it's a lot of politics and strategic things that take place.
You guys do music, so you could have an amazing piano player come in and audition for you guys, but he can only play classical, and you're looking for somebody who does jazz.
Got you.
He's not your guy.
It won't fit.
Got you. He's not the perfect fit.
Yeah.
So that's what happens a lot of times on auditions.
Right.
You fit everything they asked for. You did everything they wanted, but when they put you guys together and they look at the picture side by side, it just doesn't work.
Now, have you ever worked with a person where you just looked at him? It's not to be a dream, not to be like a dream crusher or someone to say you're not fit for this business, kid. But you ever looked at a person on one of shooting a film or first time meeting an actor, and you say, well, this guy don't have it?
I keep my comments to myself when I'm on set, but I've seen some people and I just wonder, why are they here? Are they actually serious, or are they just here because, oh, look, I'm going to be in a movie? I do see that. I see that with some people, and I'm like, but that's their business. It's not for me to say.
Now, would that affect like how the film was then?
It can.
Would that affect the film, like the potential of the film? Like, let's say you have somebody that's a producer, and he hired this homeboy or his cousin or his sister or his mother, and she can't act if she got bit by the Denzel Washington bug. She couldn't act.
Sure.
So does that bother you sometimes? Like I know you said that you just stay, you don't.
It can. I don't. It doesn't. It's their choice. It's their movie. I'm working for them, so it's not really for me to worry about. My job is to go in and do the best I can for what I'm doing.
Okay.
And so a lot of times I go in, I'll do my job, and I leave, and it is what it is. What happens after that's beyond my control. Sometimes it can drag the production a little bit to where, the energy tends to drop a little, and maybe you're not feeling it that much that day because you just really, that kind of thing. Like, you keep blowing the line over and over again, and you're just really, And we all have those days. So you can't really, everybody has an off day. So you just kind of fight through it. And like I said, you go in and do the best you can, and then you move on.
Okay, yeah,
So,
because you hear stories about actors getting into it. This actor don't want this particular actor on the set and stuff like
mhm,
that. So I know it's like a dark side to it. And there's a lot of stuff that goes behind the scenes. It's just like when we do music, a lot of people don't see how many times we done struggled with a song. The producer didn't get the drums right. It's the bickering
right.
back and forth of you in the group. The energy it takes. Gov can vouch for this. Um, Certain artists supposed to come and do a verse that day.
Mm,
He or she shows up late. It's a whole lot of folks and crannies to
Right.
the we see the ending results. We
mm.
don't see what it takes
Sure.
to make the product. Now I got two
Right.
more questions, and I'm gonna give it to my co-host to ask you because I'm trying to pick your brain here, right?
Okay.
Um, how do you feel about being typecast? If I'm saying
Yeah.
that right.
Yeah, no, that's the right question. You're saying it right. It doesn't matter to me because I tell everybody if I wasn't typecast for a lot of work, I wouldn't be working.
True, true. That's
So
true.
I really don't care. If it gets me work, gets me exposure, I'm fine with it.
That's
You
what's
know,
up.
and it's up to me to try and break that mold.
That's what's up. How do you also feel about what was it, the writer strike that happened in Hollywood or
Yeah, I mean, you had the
whatever?
writer's strike and you had the actor's strike. The writer's strike, they are, for all intents and purposes, my understanding. Now, I'm not SAG, so I don't get all the emails from SAG and everything
Mhm.
that the actors do to keep them updated. So I just see bits and pieces. But last I read was the writer's strike, for all intents and purposes, is done. They just cannot return till the contract has been read properly and then signed. They want to make sure everything they were promised is written properly in the contract.
Mm.
And once that's signed, they go back to work. So for the most part, it's ended for them. They're just waiting for that final signature.
Right.
On the actor strike, that is what it is. I have no idea. I still think it's going to be running for another couple months. You're not going to see anything. Me personally, I don't think you will see anything till probably next year, beginning of the year or later. I mean, I've seen where they've been at the table, walked away, been at the table, people walked away. One of the sticking points is AI.
Yeah, yeah. I was going to ask you about that. What did you think about that?
Um, I think it's wrong, honestly, to go in. The original idea for AI and why SAG was really hard on this was because of background. You have your big people making money,
Mm,
and they're not going to get AI. You're not going to AI Brad Pitt. You're not going to AI Denzel Washington. You're not going to, AI somebody that's a box office hit, whoever it is. But the background where that's needed, but not needed, it's important to have the people walking past in the background, show movement in the scene and all. But if we can AI those people for like a crowd scene later on, that's their thing. They go in, they scan your image, they pay you for the day of work, and you sign off saying they have your image indefinitely.
Mm.
So you get the
wow.
1 day's work, get paid for that, and then they can just start sticking you in any movie they want, and they don't have to pay you. That was the issue with AI. That was my understanding, anyway. Maybe I may be getting a little bit wrong, so I don't want y'all to
Right.
take it as gospel.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's kind of the understanding. There was they wanted to generate your likeness and just use it forever and not have to pay you.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see that stretch out into all forms of advertising.
So I mean, they do it now. AI's all over the place now. I mean, all those bots, chat bots, and all that's AI that pop up on your screen.
Mhm.
There's bot calls you get. That's AI. A lot of your commercials on IG and TikTok, you hear that same guy's voice all the time. That's like an AI generated thing.
Yeah.
You can read articles and see it's AI because some of the wording's wrong, or it's repeated the line twice. And if
That's like
somebody's
that's like
actually
that's
pointing
like
and
that's like
editing,
my texting, right? When I
yeah.
text people, oh, go ahead.
But
Yeah,
even
go ahead.
on your text, when you start texting and it starts throwing the words up for you, that's all AI.
Mm.
So how
So
do you
there's
prepare? How do you prepare like for a role? How do you study?
That's a good question. I mean, I read the script and then I gotta see how my character is interacting with everybody else and try and figure out the energy. So I gotta break it down. And trust me, it's a lot easier to play a bad guy than it is to play a nice guy, because a bad guy you get a lot of range,
True.
and where the nice guys kind of got to stay in this kind of frame of always being polite or courteous or nice or calm, easygoing kind of thing. And it's so much more fun to be able to just flip out on somebody and just kind of tear into them, or do something unexpected or whatever.
Right.
But you gotta, it's like anything, you gotta put the work in, read the script, break it down, see what's asked of you, what your character is, create your character, and then try and present it on screen.
Mm.
Mm.
Do you watch a lot of movies like to study?
Believe it or not, I don't watch a whole lot.
Okay.
I watch old stuff. I'm still watching like antenna TV and stuff like
Okay.
that. So
Any actors in particular?
I've always liked, just as a favorite. I mean, I've always liked like Clint Eastwood from way back,
That's my guy. That's
the
my guy.
Dirty Harry movies,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
that kind of stuff. I love comedy, so all different types of early comedy and stuff you couldn't put out today.
True.
The Mel Brooks type stuff.
Hmm.
You know that kind of, I love that kind of thing. The old Monty Python.
Yeah. Okay.
That kind of thing. I love Carol Burnett,
Classic.
Jack
Classic.
Benny, yeah, all that stuff. I just like watching those shows and then seeing what it is today, see how the acting was then versus today. You know, I couldn't even tell you half of the new people out there.
Like
That
music. I couldn't tell you half of the new people that's out there now.
my son keeps asking me, "How do you not know who this director is or who this actor is?" I say, "Because I don't watch it. I don't know."
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a classic era, the golden era.
Yeah.
Any questions, Quan? Bizzle?
Yeah, I actually have one question actually.
Sure.
Has there ever been a movie that you ever wanted to work in the past or currently right now? Like any movie for like Marvel, DC, or like anything random?
Uh, that's a tough question there. I'm not a Marvel DC comic fan, so I stay away from all those superhero movies, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Me personally, I like really off the wall stuff. I mean, I'm the guy that would do like just would do a weird type movie or anything that's a statement, that's like, a wake up call to the public. I love controversial stuff.
Mm.
Mhm.
And people ask me, are you okay with playing this part or doing this in the movie? I'm like, if you're putting it together to make a statement or raise awareness or be an eye opener, I'm good. Let's do it. Doesn't matter
Mm.
what line I got to cross. I'm pretty much good with it.
Have you ever lost yourself in a role? Like what happened to the guy who played the Joker? What's his name? Chief.
Oh,
Pleasure.
Heath
Yeah.
Ledger.
Yeah. Have you ever had experience where you had to like snap out of that character? Like you brought it home. I'll say.
No, I haven't done that, but sometimes I'm on set. I tend to just stay in it all day and have fun with it.
Gotcha.
But I've never really had to, I've never been in that impactful a role to where I have to. I mean, I've done stuff, but a lot of times, unfortunately, some of the roles where I'm just being an ass, like playing a police officer, something like that. That's just me as a boss sometimes. So
Gotcha. Any movies that you want to tell us about that's up and coming, and movies that you have already been in? Like, give us the format of what's going on, man.
Wow. Okay, so um my movie that I sent you the message on is called Penance.
Okay.
We actually did a red carpet last year. It should be streaming by the end of this year. we're finishing up the subtitling all in it. Now I was gonna set it into the film festivals when it was completed, but now I was like, I really don't have the money to be sending out to a million film festivals, this, that, and the other. So I had sent the trailers out to just kind of get something rolling on that. The trailer won several awards, so I was happy with that. The movie itself we filmed pretty much all of it in Baltimore, with the exception of when we had to relocate to Westminster, but we made it look like Baltimore. We found spots that were good for the city. We had a lot of people in that, which I appreciate everybody that came out. And, Teresa Davis and her
Yeah,
crew.
shout out to Teresa Davis and what's going
Yeah,
on. Hopefully we can get her on the show.
They came out and helped me with a couple scenes on that movie. She was my go-to. I needed a corner market for actually one of the opening scenes, and she got me one in Baltimore, which I couldn't find. So, she was a huge help on that project. So, like I say, it'll be out. It's a feature length. Unfortunately, we kind of trashed Baltimore a little bit in the movie, but I think, my whole point of that movie was I worked in a city 35 years. And when I put it together, I said, you know what? Everything that happened when I first showed up in 86 working in the city, and I left in 2021 when we were finishing filming in 2021, but nothing has changed. Regardless of the politics, nothing has changed, which is a sad point of view, but unfortunately it's true. And so
when you say nothing has changed, I know this sounds hypocritical in a sense.
nah,
Has it got worse, or just it's still the same old same?
It's just changed on a different level. So like when I worked in Southwest Baltimore. I was down the street from Agnes, 3 blocks in on Brunswick Street. That's where our shop was. So when I first came down there working, and I went to trade school on the east side, so I used to drive through Baltimore every day to get to the east side of the trade school. I was seeing 14 and 15-year-olds pushing baby carriages back in the 80s. Come the 90s, I'm seeing these kids strung out. Okay, come to 2000s, I'm seeing those kids that were strung out, they're working corners now or running corners.
Mm-hmm.
When I leave in 2021, it's still the same thing. It's just a cycle.
Yeah.
The neighborhoods aren't getting what they need to eliminate the issue. The crime is due to a lot of poverty issues because you got to make your money somehow.
So I'm about to ask a stupid question. Do you think it has anything to do with like who the people Baltimore putting in office? Is it a political thing? Not to go into detail.
No, you're fine with that. Honestly, I think there's corruption on so many levels that until you eliminate everybody and start over, it's never going to get fixed.
Gotcha.
I mean, that's my opinion.
I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. It's a sense of if something smell in the house and you can't find the smell, then gut the house out.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like politics with the president. No matter who your president is, who actually runs the country?
Right.
Congress.
Gotcha.
So whatever Congress votes in, he can veto, or he tries to write it, they can veto it. So until you get everybody on the same page and working towards the same goal, you're never going to accomplish anything. Yeah. And the same in the politics in Baltimore. My opinion is you got people in there want to do good things, but you got the rest of the crew holding them back because it affects what they want to do.
Right.
And everybody has an agenda, and if it doesn't fit the same agenda as the next guy, it's not going to happen.
Wow, that's crazy. So is there any hope?
There's always hope. There's always hope.
Yeah.
But a lot of the hope starts as a grassroots movement.
Gotcha. And hopefully some of the films and I'm about to ask you too, you don't have to answer, but your movies, is there like a charity fund or like is it some type of charity that you donate to or you would like to express on our show so we can get it out to the public? Is any charity work or is it charity that you normally, represent?
I don't have any charities I right now,
Yeah.
once I get out from under this movie, people, let's put it this way, people think movies are great to make, and I thought so too until I saw what it cost me to make this one. And
Yeah,
it was all out of pocket. So, you know, I'm still let's say $8,000 in the hole on this, and it's not even released yet.
you sound like a rapper.
So, you know,
It sound like you're making an album. You sound like me.
Yeah,
sound like me.
So
I get it.
I went into it. A lot of people start making they make it short.
Yeah.
Just get the experience. I said, oh, fuck it, we gonna make this formal language. We gonna make his whole feature length.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make a movie. I'm gonna make. So I'm just gonna go all out. You know, go big or go home. So that's what we did.
That's what's up, man. And we appreciate you, man. And if anything you want to put out there, as far as do you have a website where you want people to follow you at?
You can find me on Facebook. It's under my name, Thomas Leahy. You can find me on Instagram under TM Leahy Jr. And that's about all the social media I own. I have a TikTok and a Twitter, and I couldn't even tell you what they are because I barely use them. I do want to, while we're on here, you'd ask about some other projects or what have you that I worked on. So there's two brothers, Shelton and Langston Shaw. Mm-hmm. When their movie gets released, you got to see that. It's called America Gone Viral. I read the script and they're like, "Are you okay with it?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, I'm 100% on this one." So, they, not to give it away, they cover a lot of issues that are just, some of them are cultural issues, whatever. But it's an amazing project. It's like 8 stories interlaced with a story along with it. So when that comes out, you guys got to see that. Tricola Durham at a DC area, she has her movie Stripped from Insanity. That's about abuse. And that made a big splash when she premiered it. She has I think she was Trapped was another one.
I remember seeing some of the promo on there.
Yeah.
Feathers is one she put out. That one I played a lawyer in.
Okay.
So,
where can we see these movies at? What streaming they on?
They're not out yet on streaming. That's the problem. They're all doing their circuits and what have you. So as a filmmaker, when they make the film, a lot of times they'll do their premiere, and that's for cast and crew and family and kind of get things rolling. And then they send it to the film festivals. And when it gets done the film circuit, hopefully they get their distribution or they throw it out to streaming.
Gotcha.
So that's where that goes. There's going to be a casting call coming up for Jay Sykes and Edwin Maker. Well, this is Jay's movie right now called Kidnapped. So that casting call will be coming out soon. I'm working the backside of that. Besides the acting, like you guys as musicians and artists and everything, you find you got to do other things in the industry besides just rapping or making beats. True. Same as an actor, you got to find your other things. So I've been doing locations, scouting and management, stuff like that, doing some set dressing, that kind of junk to go with it. There's other projects. We the People was like the first feature that I'm on that's streaming. That is on Amazon Prime. Or not We the People. Just got released. Look up, it's I'm sorry. London and James. That one. That's the first one I was in that's streaming right now. It's still on Amazon Prime. It's been on there for like 2 years now.
Okay. Definitely worth checking out. We're gonna cut it because we're almost running out of time. Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you, Thomas Leahy. Please don't be a stranger. Once the new year start up and we're back on the couch, we live behind the cameras.